You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. It was a massive recruiting weekend for LSU. At Friday Night Lights on Friday night in Tiger Stadium. Bryce Underwood was on campus. Some of the video that Shea and others posted was awesome. Throwing dimes to Harlan Berry. A sign of things to come in Tiger Stadium, which is really pretty cool. And the good news started rolling. On Friday, Richard Anderson, a 2026 defensive lineman out of New Orleans, came the first commitment for 2026. Saturday, LSU got a second commit for 2026. And wide receiver Ja'Kai Anderson, also out of the New Orleans area. And the Tigers also popped another defender for the class of 2025, and they went out of state to do it. Top 10 edge rusher Jesse Harrold committed to LSU on Saturday. And there is so much to love about this. First, a little bit of the background on Jesse Harrold. He is 6'7", 230 is what he's listed at. 6'7", 230. Well, actually, forgive me. 6'5", 230. 6'5", 230. I was looking at the wrong line. My apologies. 6'5", 230. He's a 4-star. The On3 industry composite has him as the number 100 overall prospect and the 15th best edge rusher. Now, to dig a little deeper, though, On3 says he's the 66th best prospect. 24/7 says he's the 73rd best prospect. Everything kind of got out of whack because ESPN ranks him number 209, whatever. And Rivals doesn't have him in their top rating, so whatever. Who do you trust? Whose evaluation do you trust is really the question. But as highly ranked as the 66th best player in the country at any position. This is significant for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, when you look at LSU's defensive line for the 2025 season, the edge rushers are an absolute must, supplementing that position. You're losing Savion Jones, who I think is poised for a massive year. Physically looks great and looks the part of a big left defensive end. You're losing Braden Swinson, who's your best, outside of Harold Perkins, is your best returning pass rusher. You're losing Paris Shand, who's a versatile guy, who's fast enough to play outside and who's physical enough to kick on the interior and be an inside pass rusher, interior pass rusher. So you're losing, outside of Perkins, you're losing your three best defensive linemen, rushers, and you're going to lose Perkins well at the draft. Now, you're going to return some talent. Deshaun Womack will be back for a junior season, presumably. And the three freshmen this year that a lot of people are high on, Gabe Relaford, Kalaj Cobbins, and then Dylan Carpenter, those three guys will all be going into their second year. But aside from that, that's it. So as much of a need as defensive tackle was this year in the portal, defensive end will be next year because you're losing your top three guys. And unless if you get the guys I just mentioned, Womack, Relaford, Cobbins, Carpenter, a lot of experience, you'll be high on talent, high on ability, short on experience. So you need to replenish that group. And this is a big part of it, getting Jesse Harrold out of Florida to commit. But you will have to go get portal experience, experienced players out of the portal for 2025. The other reason that I think this is really important is it further illustrates something we talk about often with recruiting strategy. You hear me say all the time, the advantage is the dirt and getting guys from Louisiana and putting the fence around the state. Putting the fence around the state isn't a unique thing to me. I'm not the guy who made that up. Nick was kind of the one who first said it. But we all have come to understand it. But I think Brian Kelly, my thesis has been Brian Kelly thought he understood it. It took being here for a couple of years to really understand and value the dirt, to realize how all in you have to be. Brian Kelly was in thigh-deep water in understanding the importance of Louisiana. You have to go cannonball into the deep end in Louisiana, which is what he's done now, right? Bringing back Corey Raymond, going and getting Bo Davis, obviously promoting Frank Wilson, Joe Sloan's a great recruiter from in the state. You understand. Brad Davis, obviously, your retaining was huge. But the point is, you've got to make Louisiana a priority. But similarly, when you have an opportunity to get elite level talent from outside of the state, you go get it. You don't go get guys out of the state just to get players outside of the state, because most of what you can find outside of the state, you can find inside of the state, and it's going to be dudes that would give an arm to play for LSU. Y'all have given examples. You didn't need to go to Minnesota to recruit Jackson Howard. You didn't need to go to Las Vegas to recruit Jeremiah Hughes. You got Bernard Causey, who's a 3-star cornerback in New Orleans, who's a dog who wanted to play at LSU. I'd rather that guy over Jeremiah Hughes. No disrespect to Hughes. I hope you understand that. But when you have an elite guy outside of the state, you identify him, there's interest, you recruit him, you can get him, go get him. When you can go to Michigan and get the number one player in the country in Bryce Underwood, you do it. When you go to Arkansas and get the number one interior offensive lineman in the country, you do it. When you can go to Florida and get a top, the number 66 overall player, a top 10 edge rusher in the country, you do it. And that's what they have here with Jesse Harrold. When you look at LSU's class for 2025, and look, Jabari Antoine decommitting stinks. So they're back to 12 commits. They were at 13, they're back to 12. Well, with Jabari Antoine's decommit, Jesse Harrold is now the highest ranked defensive commit in this class for LSU. Yeah, you take that kid. Just like if you can go to California and get Eli Ricks, you do it. You can go down to Tampa and get Jesse Harrold, you do it. And when I look at this LSU class, it's built exactly how it should be built. Of the 12 commits, you got 7 from Louisiana. 7 of the 12 from Louisiana. And then 1 each from Arkansas, Florida, Michigan, Mississippi, and Texas. The 1 from Florida is your highest ranked defensive player, Jesse Harrold. The 1 from Michigan is the number 1 overall player in the country. The 1 from Texas is Charles Ross, flirting with a top 100 overall linebacker out of Houston, which has become such a fertile recruiting ground for you for so long. The 1 out of Arkansas, Carius Kern, the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country. The 1 from Mississippi is Tyler Miller, who's the 6th best player in the state of Mississippi, another big physical interior offensive lineman. Again, you can identify elite talent out of state that want to come here and you can recruit them, do it. But focus on Louisiana and get top players from other states, and that's what they did here with Jesse Harrold at a great position of need. Tigers got to get rolling on the defensive side. There's no doubt. You got 12 commitments right now, and just when you look at the defensive side, especially with the decommitment from Jabari Antoine, the only you have 1 defensive lineman and 2 linebackers in this class with as we mentioned Charles Ross and Keelan Moses, and then Jesse Harrold. That's it. It's only 3 of your 12 commits, only 3 on the defensive side. So they got to get going. But this was a good start here with Jesse Harrold committing on Saturday to Brian Kelly and the Tigers. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.